Welcome class 10th. Here I am going to start chapter 10, the sermon at Banaras from your first flight English book. Let's start the chapter. Now this is the time first to know about the author. Betty Renshaw was the American writer. She was born on October 2nd, 1921 in the Renshaw family. She died on April 30, 1999 at the age of 77. Her famous books were Value and Voices, a college reader. And then one more is Writing with a Voice. Now let's see the chapter. Let's get the introduction about the chapter. The chapter covers the journey of Gautam Buddha from princehood to his saintly life. After being exposed to the sufferings of the world, he left his princehood and went in search of salvation. Thus left all the worldly pleasures behind. Upon attaining the spiritual awakening, he gave his first sermon in the city of Banaras, hereby making a lady named Kissa Gautami realize that men are mortal and a wise person should not grieve at what is bound to happen, for it only enhances pain and suffering to the person. Before I start, here I want to comment about the title of the chapter, The Sermon at Banaras. Sermon means a talk usually given by a monk on a moral or religious subject. It is altogether different from the lectures given by some person. So, it should not be used in a negative form or in a joke. So, here in the story, you are going to know about the first sermon delivered by Gautam Buddha. Here in this chapter, you are going to know about the first sermon delivered by Lord Buddha at Banaras. As you are well aware that Gautam Buddha is the founder of the religion Buddhism. He was a spiritual teacher who had gained enlightenment after seeing the pains, sufferings, and the greed of the world. Finally, he had attained the salvation under the tree of Bodh-Gaya, where he had delivered his first sermon to a young, unfortunate mother who had lost her only son. See the chapter, The Sermon at Banaras. Gautam Buddha, 563 BC to 483 BC, began life as a prince named Siddhartha Gautam in northern India. At 12, he was sent away for schooling in the Hindu sacred scriptures, and 4 years later he returned home to marry a princess. Sacred means pure or pious. Scriptures, that stands for holy books. Here it means the 4 Vedas of Hindu religion. The story here starts with the description about the life of Lord Gautam Buddha. He was born in the year 563 BC. BC stands for the time period of before the birth of Jesus Christ. Here the story opens up by giving the description about the birth time of Lord Buddha. He was born in the time of 563 BC and died in the year 483 BC. He was born to a North Indian royal family as a prince and was named Siddharth Gautam. When he grew up at the age of 12, he was sent for schooling at a faraway place to learn the four sacred scriptures of the Hindu religion. So, those were the four Vedas. And he returned back after the period of 4 years. Then he got married to a princess. They had a son and lived for 10 years as a befitted royalty. At about the age of 25, the prince heretofore shielded from the sufferings of the world while out hunting chanced upon a sick man, then an aged man, then a funeral procession, and finally a monk begging for alms. These sights so moved him that he at once went out into the world to seek enlightenment. Befitted means to be appropriate or suitable for. Heretofore, that means before now. Shielded, that means protected from a danger. Suffering, that is a state of undergoing pains and sufferings. Chanced upon, that means came across by chance. Alms, that means money or food given to people as a charity. Enlightenment, that is the state of high spiritual knowledge. Is described in the story that Lord Buddha, along with his wife, had continued to live the royal life for about the period of 10 years. They were blessed with a son. At about the age of 25, the prince, heretofore shielded from the sufferings of the world while out hunting, chanced upon a sick man, then an aged man, then a funeral procession, and finally a monk begging for alms. Heretofore, that means here by this. Shielded, that means protected from the outward danger. Funeral procession, that is the procession or the ceremony of burning the dead person according to the Hindu religion. Alms, that is the begging things like food or clothes. Hence, the royal family was shielded from all the unpleasant experiences of the world. That means they were ignorant about the pains, sufferings of this real mortal world. But the four sides which the royal prince witnessed, it brought the drastic change in his life and thinking. So the next, it is informed that at the age of 25, the prince got a chance to meet a sick man, then an aged man, and a funeral procession, and finally when he saw a monk begging for the alms. So all these sights moved the prince, and he decided to give up the luxuries of the royal life. Thus, he set out in the search of enlightenment in the world. These sights so moved him that he at once went out into the world to seek enlightenment concerning the sorrows he had witnessed. Enlightenment, that is the state of the high spiritual knowledge. Hence, all these four sides turned to be the eye opener for the Prince Gautam, and he left all the royalty behind him and went in the forest to seek the higher sense of the spiritual knowledge. in the world. He wandered for 7 years and finally sat down under a peepal tree where he vowed to stay until enlightenment came. Wandered means to move without a fixed course. Vowed, that means solemnly promise to do a specific thing. Thus, Gautam Buddha went in the search of enlightenment for about 7 years before he finally came across a peepal tree and chose to sit under this tree till he got the enlightenment. Hence, all these four sides turned to be the eye opener for the Prince Gautam, and he left all the royalty behind him and went in the forest to seek the higher sense of the spiritual knowledge in the world. Further, it is said that after performing the meditation of 7 days under the peepal tree, finally the Prince Gautam got the salvation and enlightenment to his soul. Then he decided to rename the tree under which he had got this enlightenment. He decided to retitle the tree as the Bodhi tree, that means the tree of wisdom. Then he decided he would also rename himself and would be known then forward with the name of Buddha. That means the awakened person. The Buddha preached his first sermon at the city of Banaras, most holy of the dipping places on the river Gangas. That sermon has been preserved and is given here. It reflects the Buddha's wisdom about one inscrutable kind of the suffering. Sermon means religious or moral talk. Dipping places, that means bathing. Inscrutable, that means something which cannot be understood. Hence, we come to know the first sermon given to the world by the great Buddhist leader that reflects about the wisdom of this great personality and the saint to the world. It was given at the riverside of Gangas in the Hindus' sacred city of Banaras. The sermon became so famous that it is still respected and followed by the people of the world because it tells a lesson to the people how they can make the protection of themselves in the sufferings of the world. And for your reference, the description of the story is given here followed. Kissa Gautami had an only son and he died. In her grief, she carried the dead child to all her neighbors, asking them for medicine. And the people said, "She has lost her senses. The boy is dead." At length, Kissa Gautami met a man who replied to her request, "I cannot give thee medicine for thy child, but I know a physician who can." Here is talked about the story of a woman named Kissa Gautami. She had an only son, but unfortunately, her only son had died. So, struck with the unending pains and sufferings, the lady took her son from door to door, requesting them to help her with some wonder magic. That means a wonder drug that could bring her only son back to the life. So it was quite obvious. The people started thinking that the lady had lost her mental balance. That's why she was asking to bring back her dead son to life. Hence, moving from door to door, finally, Kissa came across a man who replied her that he could not provide her any medical help to bring back her dead son to the life. But he said that he knew someone who could cure her problem. And the girl said, "Pray tell me, sir, who is it?" And the man replied, "Go to Sakyamuni, the Buddha." Kissa Gautami repaired to the Buddha and cried, "Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy." Thus, Kissa Gautami went to meet Lord. Hence, the young lady begged before the man to suggest her the person who could cure her dead child. At this, the man replied she should go and meet Lord Buddha. Only he could cure her dead child. Hence, after getting the name of Lord Buddha, she rushed to meet the Lord and cried before the Buddha that he should give her the medicine that should cure her child and bring back him to the life. The Buddha answered, "I want a handful of mustard seed." When the girl in her joy promised to procure it, the Buddha added, "The mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent, or friend." Handful means a quantity that fills the hand. Procure, that means to collect or obtain something. Just as the man had suggested, Lord Buddha had the solution for her dead child's treatment. So she begged before Gautam Buddha to now suggest some remedy. He asked Kissa Gautami to bring a handful of mustard seeds. Thus, he restored the hope in the young lady's mind. Moreover, getting the suggestion of bringing the mustard seeds, Kissa Gautami thought it to be a very simple task. But Lord Buddha put the condition in his suggestion that she would bring the mustard seed, but it should be brought from such house where no one has lost their child, husband, parent, or friend in their life. Poor Kissa Gautami now went from house to house, and the people pitied her and said, "Here is mustard seed, take it." But when she asked, "Did a son or daughter, a father or mother die in your family?" they answered her, "Alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. Don't remind us of our deepest grief." And there was no house, but some beloved one had died in it. Pity means to show mercy. Beloved, that means dear or loved ones. Grief means suffering. At this point of the story, it is told, after getting this suggestion of bringing mustard seeds, now Kissa Gautami was full of hope. She started now moving from one door to another for finding these seeds. The people, though, had full sympathy with the poor lady, and many were ready to offer the mustard seeds. But when she told them about the condition of Lord Buddha, that she had to take the mustard seeds from the house where no family member had died. Upon being asked about the death in the family, the people also got depressed and filled with the sadness and requested the lady not to remind them about their deepest griefs and sufferings, as there was death in every home in the city. Hence, Kissa could not find any suitable home where she could get the mustard seeds for bringing back the life. For her, she found there was no house in the city where death had not taken any beloved one away. Kissa Gautami became weary and hopeless and sat down at the wayside, watching the lights of the city as they flickered up and were extinguished again. At last, the darkness of the night reigned everywhere. Weary means extreme tiredness. Flickered means to shine unsteadily. Extinguished, that means to stop burning. And reigned, that means ruled. Now in the story, it is informed once again Kissa Gautami became hopeless. In her extreme anguish and pain, she found herself to sit at the edge of the road and started pondering about her situation. That moment, she was continuously watching the lights of the city, which were blinking, and she observed that after some time, these lights also put off. That means they also stopped burning. Then she observed that there was complete darkness all around, and she considered the fate of men, that their lives flicker up and are extinguished again. She thought to herself, how selfish am I in my grief? Death is common to all. Yet in this valley of desolation, there is a path that leads him to immortality, who has surrendered all the selfishness. Valley of desolation, that means the area which is filled with deep sorrows. Immortality, that is the ability to live forever. Hence, after watching these lights which were flickering and extinguishing, she got the deep understanding. She realized that man's fate was also like these lights. This also flicker and extinguish repeatedly. That means the cycle of birth and death is the natural way of working of man's life. Hence, she understood her mistake and realized how selfish she had been in her sufferings. All the persons in this world are mortal and death is common to all. One who has taken birth in the life has to certainly die. But a person can become immortal if he rise above all the selfishness and the wealth of this life. Then only he can become immortal and can live forever in this world. The Buddha said the life of mortals in this world is troubled and brief and combined with pain. Mortals are the persons who are bound to die. Troubled, that means full of sufferings. Hence, Lord Buddha there gave the sermon to this lady that the life, all the mortals, that means a human being, is always troubled and brief, and always it is full of pains and sufferings. Buddha further said, as the life of all the living beings is short and full of sufferings and pains, there is no means on the earth that they can avoid their death. There is no means on this earth by which the person or the living being who has taken birth can avoid death. Definitely, they have to meet death who has taken birth in life. This is the fact of the life about the living beings. Just like the ripe fruits are prone to fallen down. Just like each ripe fruit is prone to fall down from the tree. In the similar way, all the mortals who are born, they always have to face the danger of death. As all the earthen vessels made by the potter and in being broken, so is the life of the mortals. Both young and adult, both those who are fools and those who are wise, all fall into the power of death. All are subject to death. Earthen, that means made of baked or fired clay. Next, Lord Buddha gave the example of all the earthen vessels, like the pots. He said that all the earthen pots break at some particular point. Same do the men, whether old or young, foolish or wise. Everyone has to face the death. Nobody can win before the power of the death. All living beings are prone to die in this living world. Of those who overcome by death depart from life, a father cannot save his son, nor kinsman their relations. Mark, while relatives are looking on and lamenting deeply one by one, mortals are carried off like an ox that is led to the slaughter. So the world is afflicted with death and decay. Therefore, the wise don't grieve, knowing the terms of the world. Kinsman, that means relatives. Lamenting, that means to express sorrow or regret. Slaughter, that means killing. Afflicted, that means affected by suffering or disease or pain. Next, Buddha said that the only way the death works is by withdrawing the person from the living world. That means the person stops to exist in this world. That means he dies. No one can control over death. Neither a father can save his son or any kinsman, his own relative. Just like an ox is taken to the slaughterhouse to be killed, so does death do with all living beings. It leaves none living behind. And the person is called wise, who do not grieve and accept this reality of the life. Hence, Buddha says that one who knows the truth about the certainty of the death, he does not grieve at the loss of his beloved ones, and that is called the wise person in this world. Not from weeping nor from grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. On the contrary, his pain will be the greater and his body will suffer. He will make himself sick and pale. Yet the dead are not saved by his lamentation. He who seeks peace should draw out the arrow of lamentation and complain and grief. He who has drawn out the arrow and has become composed will obtain peace of mind. He who has overcome all the sorrow will become free from sorrow and be blessed. Lamentation, that is expression of sorrow. Contrary, that means opposite in nature. Blessed, that means bringing contentment or the good fortune. Hence, ultimately, Lord Buddha suggested to the living beings that they should not grieve, weep, or be miserable at something which is bound to happen in their lives, as lamenting or crying over the loss with the death. It will keep man away from obtaining peace of mind, and certainly it will multiply the pain and the sufferings of his life. Thus, it will lead to the physical weakness, and moreover, then no amount of the grief would bring back. That means the crying over the loss of the beloved ones cannot bring back the person in the life. Hence, it is very important to understand by all that one must move the past feelings like sorrows and the grief, as it is the only way that leads to the path of salvation. Hence, Buddha said that weeping and grieving will bring more pain and sufferings to the person, and one who is composed will obtain peace of mind and will be free from the sorrow. Hence, Buddha suggested that all the living beings have to understand this fact and have to try to rise above the feelings of sorrows and the sufferings of this world, and have to obtain the peace of mind that would lead to the path of salvation in this mortal world. I hope you well understood up to this part. Must watch the next part in the coming video. Thank you for watching the video.